Hello, welcome to another episode of Theories Explained.
So for today, we will be discussing about an American pioneer comparative psychologist.
Who?
Guess who?
I guess Simon Freud.
Absolutely not. That's too far from him.
I guess it's John Piaget.
Nope. We actually studied about him last week.
We only studied three psychologists last week, so it must be Edward Lee Thorndike.
Yes, absolutely right. So let's have a little biography about Edward Lee Thorndike. So Edward Lee Thorndike was born in Williamsburg, Massachusetts in 1874. He was from a family of Methodist ministers. So he studied animals on the year 1895 and proceeded to study humans on the year 1978. He died on August 9, 1949.
So before he died, he actually, like what Sumi have discussed earlier, that he studied about animals and human beings. He actually left a legacy that human beings are now exploring or discussing. It's the connectivism theory. So Sumi may ask, what's the three components of his theory?
So we have here first on the list, let's go with the first one first. So we have here the law of readiness. So this is sometimes called law of action tendency. So from the word itself, readiness, so this means to be prepared. So if an individual is prepared or is not prepared rather to learn, then learnings cannot be infused.
We'll proceed on the next one.
What about an example?
Let's get into that later. So the second law of, or the component of connectivism theory is the law of exercise. So these to be for us to furtherly understand the second law, it has two sub-laws. This is the law of disuse and the law of use. So let's say for example, a specific student, he has his peers or friends, parents, school, and organization. So it is up to a specific student if he is going to utilize the connections that he has effectively, because it would matter and it would somehow like impact someone's development or the student's development. So if this specific student utilize this his connections, then he can succeed.
Yeah, so this is somehow related with the law of disuse. So on the law of disuse, we can take Michael as an example. So he is a student. So based on what Vince said, he has the connections of parents, friends, organizations at school. So basically, when you have connections with your parents, there's communication. So we can say that your parents gave you an advice like, you can go to school, but you can also interact with your friends. So that is connected with your friends. So when you interact with your friends, let's admit it, one of the influences of joining organizations is friends. So you join organizations, and when you join organizations, then you will be having schoolworks. So when you have schoolworks, so it's like just like connected with each other. So the law of disuse, we can say that if your communication with your parents, you don't really communicate with your parents, then the communication weakens. So this is the same with the law of disuse. If you do not utilize the connections, then basically it weakens.
So that's pretty understandable, right? And it's very easy to comprehend. So I'm just going to take note that this is not one. If you're just going to research on Google, this is not the exact example, but we're just giving you the concrete example or the situational type of example, which you would be able to understand furtherly. And let's proceed with the third one.
Now we're down to our last one, so which is the law of effect. So the law of effect, it somehow has like two components. So I can explain the first one first. So if an unfavorable outcome follows an action, then the action will be less likely to be repeated again. So we can take this as an example. A kid who is belted by his parents would less likely repeat a tantrum again, because the kid has a response that if I throw a tantrum again, then my mom will scold me, my mom will spank me. So definitely the kid wouldn't want that to happen again. So he chose to behave himself and never throw a tantrum again.
Let's not focus about the negativities. So, if we're just going to give an example in a positive way or in a positive tone or a situation, in a positive situation, we can actually give an example. Like, for example, a student named Sumi. A student named Sumi has been rewarded for being punctual. So, that habit or that specific actions would best believe be applied for
Did again.
repeated again because he's rewarded. Who wouldn't want like a compensation from the things you've done, right?
Yes. So, for us to better understand the connectionism theory or these laws, we can give you a diagram about it.
So here's the diagram.
As you can see on the diagram, there is a child at the center. There are actually four factors that contributes to the child's development, namely parents, friends, organizations in school, and schoolworks. These four factors we can actually refer to them as connections. So if the child would utilize them effectively, these connections can actually contribute for the betterment of the child and the development would likely be seen and the child would progress for the better.
So this theory actually is applicable on real life situations, and it is helpful for us millennials these days. So I can say I can make use of the law of effect. So in the law of effect, when I was a kid, my mom used to scold me for not cleaning the house when she gets home from work. So it means that when she scolds me, I really get scared. And when I get scared, like I have this response that if I will not clean the house again, then basically I will be having the same words from my mom. So from that time, I tried to change myself. I tried to clean the house, and it worked actually. When my mom goes home, then I did not receive any harsh words from her.
So if I'm going to give an example or like a real life situation that happened in my life, I would definitely take the law of exercise. So it's the positive one. So it states that we as human beings has like connections, the peers, organizations, school, and your parents. Actually, I was rewarded being the leadership award. So technically, I was harnessed by these connections because I have utilized them effectively. I have followed my parents' scolding or like the advices that my parents gave. My teachers, I followed them. Though they weren't perfectly executed or they weren't perfectly followed or utilized. But yeah, I learned something and it like it ended or like I had the result that being an awardee for leadership.
So I guess that explains the connectionism theory.
So this is the end of this episode. Theories.
Explained. So let's see you again next week.
Bye bye.